Here we go. Hello and welcome to Coffee with the Raptors. It's another beautiful day here at the Rocky Mountain Raptor program. I'm excited to be back with you all and have you here for another behind the scenes look at who we are, what we do, hopefully give you a chance to ask your questions, fulfill your curiosities, see what we've been up to and see what's coming up. So it is Coffee with the Raptors. I'm not drinking coffee today. I do have caffeine though. I love the bubblies, and when they came out with the caffeinated ones, my husband found them and he brought them to me, and I'm all about them. I love it. It's great without the soda, without the sugar, without the calories, always good. So would love to hear from you what you're drinking, so feel free to drop that into our chat window. But this particular episode, this is episode 3 of our 8-part series, Coffee with the Raptors. I do want to give a thank you, a huge, huge thank you to Platte River Power Authority. They have been sponsoring a variety of our educational outreach and really help fund our organization and the efforts that we do for our rehabilitation as well as our education. So a great thank you to this wonderful partner that supports the Rocky Mountain Raptor program. So let's see, what have we been up to? Where did my chat go? Hang on, I lost my chat window. All right, so what have we been up to? There it is. Well, it's winter, so it's a little bit quieter. Let's pull up the report from our rehab department and see what's been going on. So this last report came to us on the 29th of November from our rehab director, Gail. And she said that as of the 29th, we had released just one bird. But again, it's winter, it's quiet, there's not as much going on. But hey, every individual back out in the wild is amazing, right? And so this was a red-tailed hawk that came to us in August, emaciated, dehydrated, and with West Nile virus. That bird is gone. So delighted to see him go away. But we did have 5 new admissions come in the last week or so, putting us up to 267 admits for the year. So we're nicely on track to reach right about that 300 mark that is pretty typical for us. And that exceeds both 2019 and 2020 numbers at this time of the year. So we're a little bit ahead this year than in recent years. We got in a male kestrel from Loveland that was actually trapped in an aircraft hangar and bashing around, gave himself some head trauma trying to get out. And then we got, let's see, a great horned owl, a great horned owl, a great horned owl, and a great horned owl. So it's owl season, apparently. Of these 4 great horned owls that came in, 2 of them were humanely euthanized due to injuries that were too severe for treatment. And one of them, oh goodness, he died soon after being admitted. But the other one, the 4th one, is in our critical care unit. And we'll be getting whatever possible care we can provide for him. So it looks like he had head trauma and a laceration in his left eye. The upper eyelid needs some healing, and the nictitating membrane, which is that interesting 3rd eyelid that raptors have. Reptiles have them as well, and it's one that goes from the middle and it flicks this way. It's a clear membrane that they can actually see through, and they close that nictitating membrane when raptors are flying to keep the eyes from drying out from the wind, but they can still see through it, see where they're going. So it's a really important part of the eye, and that one has some damage. So we'll need to see how that heals up. But all in all, patients are still doing pretty good. It's slightly above average, but not all that much as far as number of patients that have come in this year. And that leaves us with 25 cases in-house that we're currently caring for. So that's pretty normal for the wintertime. Now, as far as our education department, we did have just a couple of outreach programs that we were able to do. We went to Preston Middle School and talked to a middle school class there. And we also went out to Pete Mirich Elementary School and did a program there for some of the fifth graders. So kind of winding down. There's 1, 2 left for the year. Just checking the calendar across the way. And then that's it. Real quiet. Got a few things coming up in January though. But it was really exciting to get to be out with the students. I always love that. That's just the best part of what we get to do, what I get to do, which of course releases are the best part of rehabilitation work. So that's kind of what we've been up to lately. Speaking of the birds that we care for, I do have a friend in the studio with me today that I always love to share our ambassadors with you. Here he is. And so this is our northern goshawk. And he's here with one of our amazing volunteers, Jenny. Jenny, give a wave. Hello. And so this goshawk here, he's a really interesting ambassador. We can zoom in a little bit closer on him and give you all a slightly better view. And so he came to our program in 2009 after he suffered some pretty severe head trauma. It's pretty likely that he was hit by a car. He was hit hard. He had a big skull fracture and a lot of head trauma and unfortunately a lot of damage to his eyes. And so that left him with pretty limited vision. He really doesn't see very much. He's pretty auditory, so responds more to sounds than he does to movements. And that's why he doesn't really look up at the camera and you kind of see his head drooping down there. It's not any kind of injury, like any acute injury that is causing that head droop, but rather he's listening. He knows when I'm talking that there's a program going on. He knows that there might be an audience, whether or not he can hear that audience. He hears me talking. And so he thinks, oh, I'm at a program. So he kind of knows what's going on just by listening for things. But if he looks up and he looks around, you might notice his eyes, of course, are pretty heavily damaged, unfortunately. Right there, that white that you can see on his eye, that's a little bit of scarring, corneal scarring from being hit by that car. And that other eye is, it's basically deflated like a little worn out balloon and he can't see anything at all outside that eye. Several of our birds, our ambassador raptors, have that kind of eye damage called phthisical, all kind of deflated and dried out and leaves that eye non-functional. So tough situation for this dude. We weren't really sure he was going to make it through, especially with such a severe skull fracture. But he did and really learned how to get around his world by listening for things. And he does an amazing job as an ambassador. It's really pretty awesome to have a northern goshawk on our team because they generally don't do very well in human care. They're a real high, strong forest-dwelling species that's not typically very tolerant of people. And so to have this guy willing to work with us is a real special thing. We do have northern goshawks in Colorado. They're up more in the mountains, kind of dense forested areas. You won't see them along the Front Range. I have gotten to see one northern goshawk in the wild myself, and that was up around the Red Feather Lakes area. It just kind of darted out of the trees, did this circle overhead, and disappeared. And I went, oh, was it? Yeah, it was. Based on that speckled belly pattern, I decided it was a goshawk, and that was it. It was, I don't know, 5 seconds. They just don't really like to be around people. So because of the nature of his disability, this is one of our ambassadors that cannot travel. And so it's always a pleasure to get to bring him to you virtually. And then, of course, whenever we're able to have you back into our facility, we love to share him with you then as well. So thank you, Jenny, for bringing out the goshawk today and sharing him with us. So I do want to go back and check in on our little American kestrel patient. And this little lady came to us just a few weeks ago, a female kestrel, after she was tangled up in some baling twine. Picture down here for reference of what baling twine looks like. And she came in, it was all constricted around one wing, and she's gone. She got released. And so it was just a couple of days ago that she was taken back and returned to the area that she originally came from. And I hope we never have to see her again. I'm waiting to see if we were able to get any photos or any videos of her release. And if we did, I will bring them and I will share them and we'll put them up here on our YouTube channel so you can see her going back into the world. I just need to, sometimes getting them off of cell phones or something and put into other computers takes a little bit of time. So if we have that, I will bring it to you and share that with you on our YouTube channel here. So stay tuned for that. So hopefully you all have been enjoying your week so far and enjoying what little bit of not winter we're getting. And it's always a delight to get to spend some time with you, as I said, sharing who we are and what we do, not only the ambassadors, but the people behind all the work that we do. And so today I have our assistant director, Lisa Winter, joining me.
Hi there.
So come on in, Lisa.
Oops.
Hang on, I'm caught on the tablecloth. Come here. There we go.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, Lisa.
Hey, Jessica. How are you?
I'm good. What are you drinking today?
So I'm drinking caffeine. This
Yeah, it's a caffeine morning.
Sweet Lightning. I believe it's only available at Taco Bell. Hate to do a plug there, but it's a Mountain Dew flavor, and it tastes a lot like mango. So it's kind of like breakfast juice, but full of caffeine.
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, thank you for having me, Jessica.
It's nice to
I
have you on.
appreciate this. I love doing these Coffee with the Raptors.
They're fun.
And kind of my inspiration behind this when we were collaborating how to engage the world virtually was this painting. This is a painting that was donated to our auction a few years back.
I love it.
And I was the high bidder on it. So this lives prominently in my kitchen above my coffee maker. This was painted by Amy Delbeck, and she is an artist that has been supporting our auction with her amazing artwork for years. And it was great. This came with a backstory that imagine the screech owl and a saw-whet meeting over coffee or tea. Saw-whets are probably tea drinkers.
Yeah, they get enough energy already.
Right. And discussing what they're going to do off in the wild hunting for their prey. So that's kind of where my mind goes. Of course, in the real life, we're totally anthropomorphizing here.
Yeah, yeah.
But
so we're going to have this. How about we have this live back here?
All right, we'll just set that right there for right now.
Yeah, we'll keep that up in our studio during coffee since that was our inspiration. Thanks for the loan.
Oh, you betcha.
That's fun. I love it.
Yeah. Amy, talented artist that supports our auction every year. We are going to have an auction in February 26th, 2022, and that's going to be at the Fort Collins Hilton. So
Excellent.
Stay tuned to all of our social media, and we'll be getting much more information out about that coming up in the next coming weeks.
And that's going to be a hybrid event, right? It's going to be partially in person and partially virtual. And we're still working out all the details of how that's going to work. Mm-hmm. But we'll have those options, right? You get to do both, and we'll have online bidding like we did for the virtual auction in 2021 this spring, because we got our 2020 in person. Okay, so that'll be interesting. It'll be fun to see how it goes doing kind of that hybrid style.
And, you know, unfortunately, things in the world are just up in the air. We know many people want to get back in person. Some people aren't comfortable with that, and that's absolutely okay. We're going to enable both activities for this upcoming auction.
COVID has really challenged us to do some new stuff. This is all new. All this virtual
Right.
stuff is thanks to COVID. I
Yes,
thought about it, but I'd never really made it happen. And then COVID said, you're gonna. So we do.
exactly. Necessity is the mother of invention.
Yep.
Right. And, just like wild creatures like raptors, adapt or die. So we're
Yep.
adapting.
Best we can.
Yep. All right. So, but before the auction, coming up on Tuesday,
Right.
Pardon? Oh,
Yep. Sorry,
coming
right.
up on Tuesday is Colorado Gives Day.
Big day.
Yes. So Tuesday, December 7th. And this is a great opportunity for people to support what we're doing. Without the donations from all of you out there, we could not feed the goshawk that you just saw. We could not care for all of those injured raptors coming through our door, like the kestrel that just took its wings and flew away. Today we are doing some enclosure repairs because the weather really does a number on the wood that these guys live in, and they have to have safe housing. That all takes money, and it's only possible through your generous support. Colorado Gives Day, which is coloradogives.org/RMRP, is a great way to support us. And so we do hope that you will consider that on Tuesday. The benefit of donating through this particular format through Colorado Gives website is that enters us into a pool that can give us incentive funding.
Right. So that makes the money work harder.
Go
There's
farther.
more. Yeah.
So it's pretty awesome. So we do hope
Cool.
you'll look at that.
Yeah, that's a great way to support us. And I know in past years that's been wonderful for getting us through and helping us stay on top of all our bills.
Exactly. Unfortunately, for all of us, the bills are always coming in.
Yep.
But, sometimes you also have to treat yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So we do also have our gift shop, and we have online giving.
Yeah.
You can go to our website or online shopping. We've all gotten much better at that during COVID. Unfortunately, I have too, and the bills are showing that. But it's okay to treat yourself. We have some great items. I'm going to step a little closer. We have some bracelets like this. They're Raptor themed. This is a rough-legged hawk theme.
I love it.
We have this necklace, which is hand carved out of bison bone. You can all look at all of those items and purchase those on our website at rmrp.org. And then when you go to our website, you'll see the big green button at top that says store, and you can see all of the amazing things we have.
Yeah.
We're also going to do curbside pickup Fridays and Saturdays up until Christmas.
Yep.
And that's from 10 to 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. And that's all on our Facebook page and our website too?
It sure is.
Okay. Social media. Yay. Keeping us all on track.
It sure is.
Okay.
And then, because it's the holidays, again, COVID has interrupted our ability to get together in person. We used to have big holiday open houses.
Yeah.
And I really miss that.
I miss them too. They were so much fun. We took this big warehouse space and we decorated it and we had Christmas trees up everywhere.
Yeah.
And it was festive. It was fun.
And just, those informal opportunities to see a kid walk up to an owl or a hawk and just that look of awe.
That's a wonderful thing to see.
I love that. That's why we do what we do. So we have the virtual open house coming up from December 12th through 19th.
Yes. So that's next week.
Yes.
Next Sunday. So a week from tomorrow. That starts. And we kick off with our next episode of Coffee with the Raptors on the morning of the 12th. And then all week long, what do we got going on?
Oh, we got, we're going to have lots of videos playing on all of our social media. We're going to do a Live with Lisa, that's me, every day at 10 a.m. to discuss different stuff that's going on around the facility and hitting on the topics of our mission, education, rehabilitation, and research.
Yeah.
And then talking about all of you and how you are the human component that makes this act of love helping these birds succeed. So
it's not just us who are in this building every day that do this work. I mean, we're here and we're the hands-on people, but our staff is tiny. And so it's the supporters, whether they're volunteers who give hours and hours and hours. Like Jenny came in extra today. I was surprised. I wasn't actually planning on seeing her. And then, yay, Jenny's here. As well as the supporters who share these educational videos and share your love and passion of Raptors, and then the financial supporters who help us fund all this work. Karen didn't really talk much about the budget, but if you've ever been to one of our auctions, you might have heard her talk about it's up to what now, $600,000 a year
I'm not sure.
to run the organization and pay for everything and all the care of the birds and the food and all. It's a lot. So every little dollar, we stretch it, it goes such a long ways. So that's what Colorado Gives Day is all about.
Yep.
The auction,
Yep.
online sales, helping you share your love of Raptors with something good for you and something good for us,
Right.
for the birds.
Yeah. And then, of course, the education. The
Right.
education is an amazing part of those open houses.
Right.
Even though it's virtual, we don't get to see those looks of awe
I
on your
miss your
faces.
I miss
Yeah,
the faces.
but that education is pretty
Mhm.
important, which you're in charge of the education.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yes.
tell me a little bit more about what you do.
Well, officially, I am the Education and Outreach Coordinator, which is a really big mouthful of a title. But basically, it means if there is a public appearance where people like you get a chance to see the Raptors out at a school, at a library, at a fair, or a festival, it's my responsibility to make those appearances happen, to do the scheduling and all the paperwork. And you and I collaborate on a lot of those as well when it comes to scheduling volunteers, because you also do volunteer stuff.
I do, yeah. I'm the volunteer
Yeah.
coordinator.
Yeah, many hats, like
Yeah.
we all do.
Nonprofit, always
Yeah.
many hats.
Yeah. And so I get to spend a lot of my time caring for the individual ambassadors, but the best part of my time that I get to do is I get to go out and I get to do the conservation education, like those two programs that I mentioned. Those were
Right.
me going to the schools,
Yeah.
talking to people about the Raptors, answering questions, seeing that curiosity, and then getting to see the reaction of the kids
Yeah.
and see their faces when they get to see those birds up close. We took to Pete Mirich, which was fifth graders, and I don't often talk to fifth graders. We took our male golden eagle and our ferruginous hawk,
Oh.
which are big birds, just physically big, and so people really love to see them.
Right.
And just the reaction of the kids to see these two birds right in front of them, 15 feet away. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
That's the thing that I miss the most about COVID, is getting to see those faces.
I do too. Those interactions are
So,
so important.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
nice to get to do these things, to try to connect with people as much as possible. But in this case, I'm talking to a camera, and it's not nearly as engaging. And
Right.
and sometimes I forget where I'm supposed to look. And
I imagine all of you are sitting there in your houses having your coffee or tea or whatever,
Caffeine.
chai, whatnot. Hopefully, I envision you guys smiling and laughing at us while we're interacting with you.
I hope so.
Smile.
I hope so.
So with all of that work that you do with the birds, do you have a favorite raptor?
You know, I asked Karen that same question
Right.
on the last episode, and she's going to make about the same response. No, but I love the vultures.
Yeah.
I love the vultures. Every bird that I have gotten to work with. Every bird yeah, let's do that. So, sorry, question, planning for another special guest for you. Sorry for the interruption. When I came in, it was the owls. It was actually our old educational barn owl that brought me to the program. And so I have a really, really super soft spot for owls.
Yeah.
And then I was introduced to our turkey vulture. And Karen, like I said, Karen inspired me, and she taught me to love the turkey vultures because of him. And at the time, we did have another one that's unfortunately no longer with us. But those two turkey vultures I just fell in love with them.
They're so curious.
They're so
It's
interesting.
amazing. Yeah.
And I started learning more and more
Uh-huh.
about vultures, and they've grown on me so much. I
Yeah.
cannot get over how unbelievably amazing vultures are. And so if I had to pick an all-time favorite raptor, it would actually have to be the bearded vulture,
Oh.
also known as the lammergeier.
Uh-huh.
And I think I might have mentioned this in the last
Yeah.
coffee, but I absolutely love them. They're massive, massive birds. I don't know how, like 30 pounds.
Yeah, I've seen pictures and they're just from head to
Eight,
tip of tail. They're
9 foot
tall.
wingspan.
Yeah.
They live in sub-Saharan Africa, so I've never gotten to see one in real life, though. I want to go on safari, so I can. And they live on a diet entirely of bone, and then they dye their feathers red as a status symbol. They're actually white birds. There's a great organization, Volpro, out of South Africa that
Right.
works to do a lot of, like we do, education and rehabilitation, and they have a breeding program, and I absolutely love them. And for Christmas last year, my husband adopted me a vulture
Oh, that's great.
out of there, which was
Yeah.
fantastic. They did, and I adopted one of the bearded vultures,
Oh, that's great.
which was my Christmas present, and I loved it. So
Yeah, organizations like that that help with the conservation worldwide and breeding
yeah,
programs to reintroduce birds that are threatened. We're all a big community. We all have an effect on our greater community, and that's so important. Those things that they do.
and it was really fun to get to talk with the director of that organization
Great.
and kind of share a little bit about what we do and how much I love
Oh,
vultures.
yeah.
And so that was kind
Awesome.
of fun to build that connection there.
Cool.
So I love the vultures. I love the vultures. But it's hard to pick an all-time favorite. I mean,
Yeah.
whoever I get the opportunity, whoever is willing to work with me, that's such a special moment.
Right.
To
It
know
is,
that this
yeah.
wild animal is willing to come up to step with me, to work with me, to spend that time in proximity with me. It makes every moment precious.
Yeah.
So I love whoever I get to have right here. That's my favorite right then.
That's awesome.
So
Yeah. That really is a special connection.
it's
These are such
yeah.
unique raptors that are our educational ambassadors
Mhm.
because they have made that step to trust the human they're working with in very specific settings. And
It's remarkable.
that personal connection is valuable for all of us,
Yeah.
but gosh, it's so valuable for all of you. When
Yeah.
you see them up close, you're more likely to engage and understand and love them, and then again take those steps in our world to improve conservation of our spaces and the raptors.
And that's why we do what we do. I
Yeah.
know that means a lot to everybody who's here, is to be able we hope, and often we don't ever get the chance to know, which is kind of the sad, not sad, but the challenging part is, I go and I speak to, what is it, 400,000 people a year through these
It's a lot.
videos and in person, but I never really get to know what kind of an impact I've had on them. So I hope for the best.
Right.
But just knowing that even a few people may love raptors a little bit more or appreciate them a little bit more because of what we do,
Absolutely.
that keeps me going on days that are tough or days that I am tired and
Absolutely.
caffeine is not quite enough.
Yeah. Because literally, when we're out there with the raptors, we're changing the world. We have the potential to change the world, just like all of you guys do with anything you do. There
We all do.
is that quote that, how do you change the world? One random act of kindness at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we need that kindness right now with COVID.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. Wow, we've
All right.
gotten kind of deep there, haven't we?
Okay, we did. That's hard
Yes.
for this early. Well, it's not super early, but it's early enough.
Yeah.
So, well, Lisa, thanks for coming on, sharing
You're
some of the
welcome.
stuff that
Oh,
we've
I'm
got
happy
coming
to.
up. And I think we're going to see you again on the 12th, aren't we?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
We'll be back then.
Excellent.
All
All
righty.
right. Thanks, Lisa.
Thanks for having me. Great to see all of you.
And thanks for the loan of your
You
beautiful
betcha.
coffee here with the sweet little darling owl.
Absolutely. Thanks,
So.
Jessica.
All right. Have a great day.
You too.
I'll roll my chair on back up here with all of you. And as we wrap up, we do need to go and have a check-in with our Gold Star Raptor. And so today's Gold Star goes to our educational ambassador, Ferruginous Hawk. And as I mentioned, I took this bird out to a school program just a couple of days ago. She had not been out and worked in quite some time. Um, Goodness, I don't think she had been in front of an audience, a live audience, in at least a year. I think before COVID hit. So it's been a long time since she's been in front of an audience. And I didn't really know how she would feel about it. I was concerned she'd be a little nervous because she hadn't been there in so long. And she did beautifully. She was just perfect. She had her best manners on. She gave a great little show. She roused all her feathers. She ate really well. She was just as good and as cooperative and as comfortable as I could have hoped for. And so she earns our Gold Star. I do actually have her in our studio for you to see live. Here she is with our educational avian care coordinator, Bonnie. Bonnie's responsible for overseeing all the health, well-being, and welfare of our ambassadors. And so here she is, our lovely Ferruginous Hawk. She is an amazing bird. You've got to meet two of the really special individuals on our team today. This Ferruginous Hawk, she goes, have a bite. She came into our hospital. She has an interesting story. She actually is not disabled. She has no physical injuries of any kind, but rather she was illegally taken from her nest when she was very young by a citizen who wanted to have her to do falconry or just kind of have the bird maybe as a pet. I'm not sure, it was before my time, but it was illegal. He was not licensed, he was not permitted, he did not have the skills and the knowledge necessary to work appropriately with a ferruginous hawk. And birds go through a time period in their life called imprinting when they're young. And this is when they get a chance to look at the adults in their world to find out who they are, what they look like, how they should behave. How do I be the raptor that I am? And many animals go through this time period. And she was removed from her nest kind of right in the middle of that. So she got a little bit of imprinting with her parent ferruginous hawks and a little bit of imprinting with humans. So she's what we call a misprint. She knows she's a ferruginous hawk. She knows what she's capable of, but she also is not afraid of people, and she knows people have food, and she likes food. And so she was actually evidence in the court case because it is illegal to take these birds without the permits, the proper permits and training, which of course we all hold. So she was given to the Rocky Mountain Raptor program to care for during the court case. And then during that time, we realized that while she would be physically capable of living in the wild on her own, the likelihood of her going around and just attacking people for food was pretty high. And that didn't seem like a good situation. And so we deemed her non-releasable because of her misprinting. And so she stayed with us ever since. And we've done a lot of work to help develop some good manners and some improved cooperation. And she's actually turned into a wonderful ambassador. And I'm just always so pleased to be able to share her with you because she's such an interesting bird. And ferruginous hawks often, like goshawks, don't take well to human care, and they take a lot of skill and a lot of knowledge to be able to safely work with. So we're pleased to have a Bonnie and all of her skills and knowledge to help us have this ambassador on our team. So there she is, our Gold Star Raptor for this episode of Coffee with the Raptors. So hopefully when we get back out into the world and you can see us again, you'll get to see her in person. So what a wonderful day. Thanks for joining us again. I look forward to seeing you for episode 4 of Coffee with the Raptors on Sunday the 12th, again, right here on YouTube at 10 a.m. Have a wonderful week and help us all do the snow dance because we need a little bit of snow in Colorado. Thanks, everybody, and we'll see you next time.